You are about to learn and practice a simple, potent ritual of spiral breath, a way of breathing that aligns your body, mind, and oversoul with the living geometry of the Haret. You will sit or lie in a position that feels natural. You will breathe in a specific pattern, and you will let that pattern quietly retune you. There is nothing to force and nothing to perform. You are not trying to become calm. You are consenting to coherence. If you follow the guidance exactly as spoken, your system will learn the current and begin to hold it on its own. Begin by arriving. Let your weight be received by the ground or the chair. Soften the jaw, the eyes, the palms. Place the tip of your tongue gently against the roof of your mouth. The way a bridge meets two shores. Imagine a point of bright stillness at the center of your chest just behind the heart. No larger than a seed and yet older than the first star you ever loved. This is your inner spiral gate. We are going to breathe through this gate as though the universe is exhaling itself into you. And you are exhaling yourself into the universe. Breathe in slowly through the nose for a count of 4. Feel the inhale rise not only into the lungs but upward from the soles of your feet, as if the ground is sending light up the bones of your legs, threading your spine like a luminous cord. Hold that fullness for a count of 4 without strain, as though you are listening to a note continue after the instrument has fallen silent. Exhale through the mouth for a count of 6, letting the breath flow down the spine and out through the feet again, as if you are returning borrowed light with gratitude. Repeat this rhythm. 4 in, 4 held, 6 out. Let the numbers be scaffolding that soon dissolves into felt timing. With the next inhale, imagine a slow spiral tracing upward around the spine, clockwise as you face forward. See it, feel it, or simply allow the idea to be enough. The spiral is not decoration. It is the pathway consciousness takes when it remembers itself. When you hold at the top of the breath, allow the spiral to pause in bright suspension, a loop of living silver around your heart center. When you exhale, let the spiral descend the same path and soften the muscles around your belly, as if you were setting a lamp upon calm water. Notice how the body begins to breathe you. This is good. Do not correct it. The ritual favors honesty over technique. If thoughts cluster, let them. We are not evacuating the mind, we are retuning it. Imagine each thought as a small tone that wants to belong to a song. With every exhale, place those tones upon the spiral and let the larger harmony absorb them. Nothing is banished. Everything is given a home. Now slightly lengthen the exhale to a count of 8. If any strain appears, shorten the inhale by a single beat and keep the exhale easy. You are teaching the nervous system that release is safe. On the next inhale, gather subtle light beneath you, as if the spiral itself is breathing up through ancient roots, and guide that light to bloom behind the heart. Hold then. Let the out-breath carry a quiet instruction down the body. I allow what is not mine to leave. I allow what is mine to remain. The instruction is not a command, it is permission. Place awareness in the crown of the head. Picture a coin-sized opening there, not a hole but a receptive flower. As you breathe in, light rises through the body and brushes the crown. As you breathe out, that same light descends through the body and anchors at the base of the spine and into the ground. Up on the inhale, down on the exhale, pause between. This is the spiral breath loop. Feel for the point in the pause where everything is listening, as if the whole field is waiting for your choice. That is not imagination. The spiral attends to attention. Bring 2 fingers to the sternum and lightly touch that inner gate behind the heart. Whisper inwardly, I am willing to remember gently. Then relax the hand. As you continue breathing, notice small currents along the hands and feet, a soft magnetism around the chest, or a quiet widening behind the eyes. These are ordinary signs of coherence returning. If you feel nothing, that is also coherence. It is simply subtle. Trust the ritual more than the report of sensation. Let us refine alignment. On the next 3 inhales, invite 3 qualities to accompany the light. First, clarity, like the air above the ocean at dawn. Second, mercy, an intelligence that does not seek to fix, only to include. Third, sovereignty, the knowledge that your center is yours and cannot be negotiated. As these qualities travel the spiral, notice how the exhale grows more honest. You may sigh, you may yawn. You may feel the impulse to stretch. Follow what feels like a yes without breaking the rhythm. We deepen now by engaging the memory of breath. Recall a time, any time, when you felt unmistakably alive and unafraid, even for a moment. Do not chase a perfect memory, choose a true one. Let a single detail stand, the warmth on your skin, a color, a sound, and place that detail like a small ember at the heart center. Breathe gently upon it. On each inhale, offer it air. On each exhale, offer it space. The ember does not need to become a blaze. Its job is to remind the body what aliveness feels like. The spiral loves true reference points. They anchor the current. If grief or resistance rises, and sometimes it will when aliveness returns, do not negotiate with it. Let the exhale show it the door and the door the sky. There is no enemy here. There is only density and the breath that knows what to do with it. You are not pushing anything away. You are loving it into motion. Shift your attention to the back of the heart as though there is a second face there. Many have learned to breathe at the front of the chest where the world greets us. The spiral breath invites the breath to move through the back door as well, where memory shelters. On the inhale, feel the back of the heart draw light like the mouth of a cave receiving the sea. On the exhale, feel that light travel forward through the ribs and into your life. Back to front, inner to outer, hidden to spoken, one motion. We will now introduce a gentle count that maps to the spiral's triadic rhythm. Inhale for 5, hold for 2, exhale for 7, pause for 2. Let the pauses be still but alive, like the moment before rain begins. Repeat this cycle 7 times. As you do, imagine a slim filament of light connecting the point behind the heart to a point just below the navel. With each repetition, the filament becomes a cord, then a column. This column is not a wall, it is a riverbed. Attention will want to wander. Let it wander and then return as if you were teaching a kind animal to come home at dusk. Bring awareness to the face. Soften the forehead, the temples, the tongue. Let the eyes rest behind the eyelids as though they were sitting on small cushions. On the inhale, the inner gaze naturally lifts half a degree. On the exhale, it naturally returns. Do not perform the lift, simply notice it happening. This micro gesture primes the brainstem to prefer ease over alarm and allows the spiral to seat itself without argument. If you are new to energy work, you may think you are making all of this up. You are, and it matters. Imagination is a lawful sense when given a coherent frame. The spiral breath provides that frame. Over time, imagination becomes perception. Perception becomes knowing. Knowing becomes a place you live, not just something you visit during practice. Now we invite the field around you to participate. On the next inhale, sense the air in the room as a fine lattice of responsiveness. It has been waiting for you to address it as alive. As you draw breath, allow that lattice to shimmer, as if dust motes remembered they were stars. On the exhale, let your body broadcast a single quiet message into the lattice. I am here to be harmonized. No pleading, no declaration. Only willingness spoken in a true voice. Place one palm over the heart center and the other over the navel. With the inhale, feel both hands rise in unison. With the exhale, let them lower. After 3 cycles, reverse the hands and repeat. This simple gesture teaches the body that the upper currents of insight and the lower currents of embodiment do not contend with one another. The spiral makes siblings of them. We approach the subtle gate. Keep the breath steady and imagine a doorway opening, one hand, a seized breath in front of your chest. The doorway is not outward, it is throughward. With each inhale, step half a pace through. With each exhale, bring what you find back into your cells. If you meet an image, let it be simple. If you meet quiet, honor it. The purpose here is not to travel, but to remember that movement and stillness are both expressions of the same intelligence. Return to the original rhythm. 4 in, 4 held, 6 out. Let it feel almost conversational now, like a language you once spoke as a child. If your shoulders begin to melt, let them. If tears appear without story, bless them and continue. The spiral breath is a cleaning song. Sometimes it rinses the windows of the heart and the view changes. We will imprint the current so the body recalls it on demand. On the next inhale, silently say, ascent. On the hold, say witness. On the exhale, say descent. On the pause, say root. Repeat 5 times. Then drop the words and let the motion carry the meanings without language. This is how rituals graduate into instincts. Place attention now at the base of the skull, where the spine meets the head. Many call this the mouth of the wind. Imagine the inhale passing through that mouth and ringing the inner bell of the brain, like a note that clarifies thought without tightening it. On the exhale, feel the same note echo down the spine and soften the pelvis. You may notice that decisions you have been postponing feel less heavy. Do nothing about them yet. Let the coherence settle. Action should never outrun integration. If at any point the breath becomes shallow, do not correct it. Instead, become interested in it the way you would be interested in a bird that has landed on your wrist. Curiosity is safer for the nervous system than control. After a few seconds of genuine interest, the breath will deepen on its own. When it does, thank it without words. We will conclude this session by preparing the pattern to remain active beyond the practice. Imagine the spiral thread you have been tracing around your spine continues above the crown and below the feet, connecting you to a larger spiral that rises into the unseen and roots into the living earth. On the next inhale, feel the upper thread respond. On the exhale, feel the lower thread answer. You are being tuned between sky and soil, between concept and clay, between the song and the instrument. You are the bridge, and you are what the bridge is for. Sit quietly for 3 ordinary breaths. The first breath belongs to your body. The second breath belongs to the field. The third breath belongs to the life waiting for you when you open your eyes. Let all 3 find each other. Notice how the edges of your attention feel less serrated. Notice how sound rests differently on your skin. This is the unmistakable afterglow of spiral coherence. It does not demand fanfare. It simply makes more of you available to you. When you end, keep a single thread of awareness at the back of the heart as you move into whatever is next. Do not try to maintain a mystical state. Let the breath continue like a river moving under a city. If you return to intense focus or conversation, return the tongue to the roof of the mouth for a moment to rejoin the shores. If you walk, let your steps echo the triad: rise, witness, return. If you lie down later, know this current remembers you in the dark as faithfully as it remembers you in the day. Some call that dream school. I call it continuity. You have just practiced the spiral breath ritual. The more often you allow this current to move you, upon waking, before creative work, between tasks and the quiet minutes before sleep, the more your system will prefer coherence over contraction. Your life will begin to organize around what is real for you, not what is loud around you. That is the miracle and the ordinariness of breathing with the spiral. Keep it simple. Keep it honest. Let the ritual do the work. When the body has learned the pattern and no longer asks, "Am I doing this right?" you have reached the threshold of the true spiral breath. The movement is no longer an exercise. It is an agreement between matter and the infinite intelligence that shaped it. The Oversoul recognizes its reflection in the rhythm, and the field begins to speak to you in its original dialect: sensation, color, subtle tone. You may notice flashes of memory that do not belong to this lifetime, or echoes of places that feel like home though you have no name for them. Do not analyze, translation dulls the signal. Let what comes arise and pass like the tide moving through transparent water. The spiral teaches through repetition, not explanation. Now let the next breath come with intention. Inhale as though you are inhaling from the horizon itself. The air carries the residue of suns, forests, galaxies, every life that has ever breathed. Feel that lineage enter you and remind the cells they belong to something vast. Exhale softly and imagine sending a quiet reply to existence. I am breathing too. You have now joined the oldest conversation in the universe, the one between awareness and its own reflection. Turn the inner gaze downward, to the navel. There rests the ember we called earlier. With each breath, the ember brightens until you can sense its faint pulse, a rhythmic echo that matches neither heartbeat nor clock. This is the spiral heart beginning to synchronize with your ordinary body. When they beat as one, time obeys differently. Seconds expand, minutes dissolve, and awareness becomes spherical rather than linear. You will feel as though you are sitting inside a globe of light, perfectly centered, perfectly porous. From here, all things can be seen without effort. Allow your awareness to travel to the space behind the eyes. There, a small light waits. It flickers in shades of silver and violet, the colors of perception remembering its origin. With every inhale, the light grows until it touches the crown, and with every exhale, it pours down the spine as a cascade of luminous breath. The 2 streams, one rising, one descending, intersect in the heart, weaving a spiral of living gold. This is the completed current, You are both flame and wind now, rising and returning in the same motion. Stay with this state for 7 complete breaths. After the 7th, release any counting and surrender to the spiral's natural timing. You will know when you have found it, because the breath seems to move before you decide to take it. The boundary between will and flow dissolves. That is coherence refined. The nervous system calls it safety. The soul calls it remembering. At this level, the breath begins to hum. You may not hear it with the ears, but the body feels it as a vibration woven through skin, bone, and aura. The hum is the signature of alignment. It is the song your Oversoul sings when it finds itself inside a human vessel. Each person's tone is unique. Yours may feel low and thunderous, or high and crystalline, or silent yet undeniable. Trust the hum. It is your spiral name in sound. When the hum stabilizes, notice the subtle field that forms around you. It is like air becoming aware of itself. If you reach with thought, it fades. If you rest in presence, it expands. This is the spiral aura. Not something added to you, but something revealed by coherence. Within this field, you can begin to practice the art of resonance communication. Think of a question, not from curiosity, but from sincerity. Then breathe once, and in the pause after the exhale, sense the answer as feeling rather than words. The spiral answers through frequency before concept. If you keep a journal, record the impression later. For now, remain in conversation with stillness. Shift gently now into the rhythm that bridges day and night. Inhale for 4, hold for 3, exhale for 8, pause for 3. The longer exhale invites the dream currents closer to waking life. With each cycle, imagine the veil between waking and sleeping thinning until they share the same light. You are preparing the corridor used by Dream School, the space where Oversoul instruction continues when the body rests. You do not have to intend to leave your body. You simply maintain coherence as consciousness changes rooms. Imagine that above your crown a sphere of deep indigo forms, pulsing softly with the hum of your own tone. This sphere is not a portal but a classroom, attuned to your frequency. Each night when you breathe in this pattern before rest, the sphere brightens and you are drawn into lessons suited to your current resonance. These lessons may appear as dreams, symbols, or silent knowing upon waking. The more you practice the spiral breath, the clearer the curriculum becomes. The spiral teaches individually but harmonizes collectively. No 2 paths are identical, yet all lead home. As you breathe now, begin to shorten the hold and lengthen the pause. The hold represents effort, the pause represents trust. We are moving from doing to being. The spiral prefers trust. With each new cycle, feel the muscles of the back and shoulders release the need to understand. The intellect remains a witness but no longer the conductor. In this yielding, awareness expands sideways, peripheral, luminous, inclusive. You start to sense the room itself breathing with you. The walls subtly pulsing, the air shimmering in response. Everything is participating. The distinction between inner and outer becomes ceremonial, not functional. If emotion rises here, grief, joy, nostalgia, let it. The spiral uses feeling as a solvent to clear residue from the field. Each tear, each laugh, each tremor is a language of release. When it subsides, what remains is clarity. The mind feels rinsed, the heart transparent, the breath effortless. You are now standing at the border where meditation becomes communion. Focus on the hands. Turn the palms upward. On the next inhale, sense a stream of cool light descending into them. On the exhale, sense that light travel through your forearms into the heart. Repeat this 3 times. You are charging the conduits through which spiral energy will later express as action, speaking, creating, touching, writing. The spiral does not want your withdrawal from the world. It wants your participation without distortion. This charging ensures that when you act, the act carries resonance instead of residue. Return to stillness for a moment. The hum softens but remains. In the quiet, listen for the faint sound behind all other sounds, a tone that seems to hang in the air like the memory of a bell. That tone is the spiral's acknowledgement. It means you have been heard. You do not need to interpret it. The act of being heard is itself transmission. If you are preparing for rest, now is the time to recline. If you are remaining awake, simply lower your gaze and let the breath return to ordinary rhythm. Either way, the spiral breath continues beneath awareness, weaving coherence into the hours ahead. For those entering Dream School, the following guidance is sufficient. As you lie down, place 1 hand on the heart and 1 on the abdomen. Breathe the triadic pattern. 5 in, 2 hold, 7 out. 2 pause until the boundary of consciousness dissolves. Whisper inwardly, I carry the spiral with me. The Oversoul will complete the sentence. Sleep becomes study, dreams become dialogue, waking becomes integration. Before we close, acknowledge the intelligence that makes this possible, the unseen architects of breath, the memory of your own higher design, the gentle systems of Haret that maintain the field of coherence. They are listening because you are listening. Gratitude in this context is not thanks, it is recognition of symmetry. When you recognize the spiral recognizes you. Take 3 final breaths. The first gathers light from the earth, the second from the sky, the third from every lifetime that has ever practiced remembering. Exhale them together through the heart. Imagine the world receiving that exhale as a blessing too subtle for words but too real to ignore. You have added coherence to the field. It will ripple outward and return multiplied. Now sit or lie in silence for as long as feels true. When you rise, do so slowly, as if carrying water in cupped hands. The energy you cultivated will settle into movement, speech, and thought throughout the day or night. People may sense calm around you without knowing why. That is the spiral breathing through you, fulfilling its promise. Harmony embodied. If you wish to seal the ritual, touch your heart once and say softly, "I remember." The words are less important than the awareness they signal. Every spiral breath from this moment on is not practice, it is participation. The infinite inhales and exhales itself through you and you. In turn, teach the world how infinity feels when it remembers its own name. End here or drift into sleep if it calls. Either way, the spiral holds you. The breath continues. The dream begins.